Well, good evening everybody. It's 20 to 8 on a sunny evening on Dartmoor. I'm up here with Lassie. Dina wasn't able to make it this time. I think the sleeping quarters and toilet arrangements put her off a little bit, and her nerves didn't help too much. But hopefully in time she'll get more used to the idea. So hopefully we'll get Dina out again in the future. But let's see, I'm not going to push or pressure, that's the last thing that she needs at the moment. So I'm not going to push that at all. Right, well that's tea made. And that's Lassie thinking it's time to go and play in the water. As I was out by myself, which, as I say, I hope Dina will join me again in the future. We'll have to see. She gets a little bit nervous, so we'll just have to take this one steady. Anyway, let's come back to the now. Because I was by myself and it's virtually the middle of June, I'm not going to freeze out here. If it rained, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to survive. The car's like 45 minutes in that direction, so nothing can go wrong. So, as is my wont, middle of the summer, I try to minimalistic it as much as possible. So that's exactly what I've done. I've brought the MLD poncho with me. This is the Cuban poncho, and this is basically my shelter, rain system, everything. Now obviously in this situation it's now my shelter, and when I left in the morning, or when I leave in the morning, if it was raining, somehow I'd have to turn it into my waterproof as well, because I've not brought waterproofs. I'm not going to need them. Obviously, yeah, I know you all think, oh, that Tony, he's really brave, he's gone out without waterproofs, or he's really stupid, he's gone out without waterproofs. I've checked the forecast. There isn't any rain until tomorrow afternoon, and like I said, if it rains this time of the year, it doesn't really matter. I'm so close to the car as well, so I just wanted to try something, a little bit different. So I'll just show you around camp here. So as I mentioned, the shelter and waterproofs is the MLD Cuban tap. Did I mention MLD already? Then I've got the MLD super light bivvy with full head net. If there had been a slight forecast of rain, I might have brought the partial head net, but because there was zero forecast of rain, I thought I'd take the slight gamble and have the full head net. I can't see it being a major problem. I've got the MLD quilt. I wanted something as light as possible to sleep in, and Thermarest X-Lite. I think it's called X-Lite. Anyway, one of the yellow Thermarests, and that's the half length. So I've put my pack under there just to give the feet some protection. Again, it's not cold, so I can't see that being a problem. I've brought plenty of clothes. That's probably where a bit of weight has increased, because as I say, and also just in case it did rain and I did get wet, I obviously wanted to have a little bit of extra protection. So I've got nighttime trousers, which I always bring, winter, summer, anytime, just North Face super lightweight leggings. I brought a t-shirt, I think it's a Rab Miko, and I also brought a Zip Miko Rab top. I brought waterproof socks just in case my feet got wet walking into camp, and then I'd have something dry to put my feet into in camp. But I didn't get wet feet, so they're surplus to requirements now. Socks to put on my feet for night time. I like nighttime socks. And a small beanie in case my head gets cool. And my buff. And that's it. The only other things that I've brought with me is obviously food. I've got my first aid kit in there, repair kit in there, so I'm not leaving things like that behind. Cocoa powder in there, I might do a cocoa later, and custard. Food, I've got my brownies again, and so I've got more food in here. Pillow, I always have a pillow. I brought my glasses. I was actually wearing my driving glasses when I got here and I forgot that I had them on, so not only did I bring my walking glasses, which I didn't use, but I brought my driving glasses as well, so that was so I got an extra pair of glasses, which is a bit annoying, but never mind. I brought my tablet for maybe watching a film later, weather meter, and then Lassie, come on, come over here. And then obviously my cooking corner here, and then Lassie's corner there. Lassie has brought her rucksack. I brought her bed, but she doesn't like sleeping on it, so, and it's not wet, so I probably won't bother putting that down. But I did bring, and I've not used this for ages, I've had this for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years now, but this is the MLD dog tap. I don't know if Ron still makes these or not, I have no idea, but anyway, this is a dog tap. So I just rigged this up in is it a Flying Diamond or something like that? Anyway, I've just rigged that up, sort of using a couple of other pegs and my tent pole, and that's it. So my erect pole is being used for more than one thing this evening. Aren't I so lucky? So that's it, and then I'll just show you around here. I did bring one other pole here, this little Eastern pole. I was thinking I could use it either for Lassie or for myself, and in the end I ended up using it for myself. When I weighed the bag last night, including the food, it was about 5 kilograms. Can't actually believe it was that heavy, because there's not that much here. So when I get back I might try and just weigh things, or at least just weigh the bag without food. I'm not going to weigh individual things, but I haven't got time for that. But that's the sleeping arrangements for this evening. Lassie just did her customary swim in the little stream behind me. Oh no, she's behind. I thought she disappeared over to the water again, which she's behind me. And after her customary swim, she thought it would be most amusing to come right here, literally here, and shake all over me. She's got the whole of Dartmoor to shake, and she decided to shake right next to me. Bugger dog. So yes, I did give her a bit of an earful for that one. It's funny, I wasn't laughing at the time, but you can look back on it, you can smile about it. Okay, the sun's just going to dip behind that hill in a minute. I'm not quite sure what the time is, but it's it must be about 9 o'clock. The breeze has stopped, the wind has stopped. There's no breeze at all now, just a tiny breeze that moves half of a blade of grass, and that's it. And of course, with the breeze stopped, the little pesky flying things have decided to come out. So I've put a little insect repellent on my hands and back of hands and face. Hopefully that will keep them away, and then I'll maybe have to duck inside if they become too much of a problem. I'm not quite sure if you can see them flying around here or not, but they've all decided to come out and play. The only other thing that I also carried with me was my warm jacket as well, because I knew it would cool off a little bit in the evening. So I just put this warm jacket on. So basically what I've done is I've taken the shirt off that I was wearing earlier. I've taken that off. The t-shirt that I brought with me I've put on. The long sleeve merino zip top, I've put that on, and then I've put this warm jacket on over the top of that, and that's quite comfortable. I didn't bring a fleece again. I wanted to keep things as light as possible, and I really didn't think a fleece would be needed. So this is my sort of layering system for now, and this is quite comfortable. I'm going to have a boil, a mugshot pasta. I did bring one of these, and if I get hungry later on I may eat it, but I did eat earlier on, so I'm not too hungry. So this small mugshot will probably be sufficient. One thing that I did with the I've not used the poncho as a tarp for quite a long time, and I have to admit I can't remember how I attached lines to it. So on this occasion I've just put knots in, but of course when it comes to the morning and having to take it down, I've got to undo all these knots. Although truth be told, if it's not raining I'll probably just pack it as it is and then undo all the knots at home. But obviously if you're doing a proper walk and a proper camp and you had proper weather, you know, you'd need to be able to undo those tie outs more quickly. But I can't remember what I did last time, so I've just done it this way this time. It was quick and easy and effective for this walk. Maybe I need to find an old video and see how I set this up last time. Anyway, I think I'm going to have this this mugshot pasta, and then maybe start thinking about ducking inside, get away from these bugs. They're starting to get a bit of a pain, even with the repellent on. They're starting to get a bit annoying. Lassie once again wanting to lick and scent mark everything here. Hopefully she doesn't go and get soaked again. But it really is a very, very beautiful evening. Very, very beautiful. And that sun is just dipping down behind that hill over there now. But this is our home for tonight. And I'll let you know in the morning how comfortable how comfortable it is under there. This is glamping Tony Hobbs style.
Okay, well, good morning everybody, and Lassie also says good morning everybody, didn't you, Lassie? You were saying good morning everybody. It's 20 past 6. Where's the camera there? 20 past 6. I just woke up like sort of 5 minutes ago. My eyes are a bit closed, the sun's directly on my eyes. So I woke up literally like 5 or 10 minutes ago. I was fast asleep, and I was dreaming about something, and then I just sort of woke up with a complete start, and I felt instantly claustrophobic. So I sort of very quickly but carefully sort of undid the zip on the bivvy and sort of unwrapped myself from a coat, because it was quite cool last night. It was a lot cooler than I was expecting, being June. I was never cold, but it was definitely on the cooler side last night for June. So I was sort of wrapped up, and I have to say, it did take me a while to fall asleep. I didn't fall asleep as quickly last night. I think these sort of bivvy contraptions and things, they're kind of like, for me, they're good fun. I know a lot of people use them, very seriously, but for me they're more of a sort of a fun thing. But I have to say, I never quite sleep as well in them as I do, from under the trail star, and got a proper net over me that I'm not quite so closed in. But I did eventually fall asleep, but it must have been, it was quite late, or should I say early. I think I watched the film until about 11 o'clock, and I don't think, and then I sort of started to try to go to sleep, but I reckon it must have been 3 or maybe even 4 o'clock before I actually properly must have been gone. And before that, I think it was like restless cat naps. So I reckon it must have been 3 or 4 o'clock before I properly fell asleep. And then I woke up with a start at 7 o'clock with the sun shining in on me. So I've put the kettle on, so I'm going to have a cup of tea. It was quite breezy last night, so a little bit of breeze did get in the mesh of this, so maybe the smaller mesh cover might have been better, but it was fine. It was okay actually. I figured out a way of cutting some breeze off my head, and that was, I took my shirt off last night, so I just put my shirt over my face, and that worked perfectly. And I think it was after doing that finally it let me fall asleep. Because it was like that breeze on my face and just not quite getting comfortable in here didn't let me fall asleep. But once I sort of put my shirt over my face, then that was more than enough, and then eventually I did fall asleep. Another thing I noticed from last night, and there must be some atmospheric weather thing to do with it, or maybe it's just because the ground's wet, probably that, but there was a hell of a lot of dew last night. I mean, the inside of this, this is an open tap, and this is saturated in dew, and everything outside of inside is pretty much soaked. You know, the mat here, this is actually a bit drier than it was. This is wet. The water bottle is wet. Mind you, that was sort of kind of out there. But even stuff that's near me, you know, everything here is really quite damp. Which is okay, as I didn't leave anything out that was important. Anything that was sensitive, I brought inside. So I'm gonna have this cup of tea now, and then I'll put my head down for a minute. I don't think I'm gonna fall asleep again now though. But oh, I did sleep well. Once I finally fell asleep, then obviously I was very comfortable. Tea time. It's 9:20, and after my last recording at 7ish, I put my head down and promptly fell asleep again. So I've woken up again. I woke up about 9. So I've just made a tea and some breakfast, and then I'll probably make another tea and then start packing up soon. Strange, it's really hot in the sun, but that breeze just feels a tiny bit cooling, maybe because I'm asleep, or still half asleep. So I've got my jacket on, but I don't feel roasting in it, which I should do, considering it's about 22 degrees. I certainly won't be walking in it, that is for sure. But I think I will take it off in a minute. So I'm just going to do my porridge, which I've just got just that tea, and then I'll have that. Oh, Les is digging again. That's the dog tap. She didn't use it. I didn't think she'd bother sleeping underneath it, but I brought it along and it only took like 5 minutes to pitch it, so I thought, well, I'll pitch it just so it's there if it did get wet or anything, then she had somewhere to shelter. But in all honesty, I didn't think she'd go under there at this time. Right, well, I'm not exactly sure what you can see. Hopefully not my crotch too much. But I just thought I haven't done a packing video for a while, so I thought I'd sort of do a bit of a sort of a packing video. Okay, well, I just quickly checked and it looks like you can see everything you need to see. I've been sitting in this position for so long, my legs have gone to sleep. Ooh. I need to blow my nose as well. Excuse me 1 minute while I blow my nose. Okay, well, what I've got going on here is I've had my breakfast, and my way of cleaning my pots is to chuck some water in after doing something and basically make a cup of tea. And if the tea tastes a bit like what I've just been eating, well, you're out camping, so my philosophy is it doesn't really matter. In this instance, I've just had porridge, so it doesn't matter. If I'd have had a pasta, I might just give the bowl a rinse out. Just a very basic rinse first. But it's just got tiny bits of porridge floating around in there. So while I'm waiting for that to boil, I thought I'd sort of talk and just use up a tiny bit of time. So first thing, that's my coat. So I'm not going to need my warm jacket anymore, so I brought my warm jacket
I wore it all night, and I'm truly glad that I bought it. As I say, I wanted to go as light as possible. That's my beanie, hat, nighttime socks. I wanted to go as light as possible, but you know, without the expense of comfort and, you know, keeping warm. So yes, I didn't want to get cold, so I deliberately put in that warm jacket. I didn't put a fleece in. I didn't think a fleece would be needed, and I was right. I didn't miss a fleece. As I say, I've checked the temperature. The temperature went down to around about 9 degrees on average. There was one point where the temperature went down to 8.6. But apart from 8.6, it never went below 10, so it was never particularly cold. But there was a bit of a breeze, and I have to say that to me was just a little bit cooling. And until I discovered that I had my shirt with me, and I quite literally just sort of chucked my shirt over my head like that, and that was it. That's all I did. And if I'd have thought of that earlier, I might have fallen asleep earlier, because that was just absolutely perfect. It was just enough to fall asleep. So this is the extent of my washing up, really. Just give everything a bit of a poke and a prod. I think it's my philosophy in life, really. Give everything a poke, and that gets it clean enough until I'm home later on. As I say, I don't have quite as much time these days to do the length of walks that I used to do at the moment, and my right foot definitely has that plantar fasciitis in it. Although, to be honest, once I'm actually walking, I can't even feel it. It's only in the morning that it's quite tender in the morning. But other than that, I can't actually feel it most of the time. So that's a bit of a bonus. Okay, so this is probably my last tea. So I've put some things away. So that was my, as I say, my clothes, some clothes in there. So this is the nighttime. This is the MLD Spirit quilt. This is the warmest one, or is it the coldest one? But this is the one that's, you know, for summer use only. Yes, I've had it so long, I've gone and forgotten. I think it's the 48. I think it's 28, 38 and 48, and this is the 48. And as I say, last night with the temperature dipping to about 9, it was, in my opinion, just on the limit for me. I was warm enough, just, but I wouldn't want to use it certainly any colder than 9 degrees, really. As I say, even wrapped up as I was, I had 2 t-shirts on, a thin t-shirt, this one I'm wearing here, this merino or Miko, whatever it is, Rab, and that warm jacket on, and I was just about warm enough. But you know, you can see how small that packs. I've just put in what did did I just put in there? You were watching what I was putting in there. Anyway, the sleeping bag is in there, well, the quilt is in there, and my something else I went in there, the Miko, and I say then in this one here is my beanie, nighttime socks. This was my nighttime sort of leggings, and then I think now is the time to take this off, because I'll pack this and wear my shirt. Would I go to the Lake District or somewhere like that with a system as light as this? Probably not, in all honesty. You know, I think if I was going somewhere like that, then yeah, I probably would pack in waterproofs and everything like that. But as I say, I know it reasonably well here, and as I say, I'm not far from the car, so I wasn't in the. I'm not in the least bit worried about coming here and doing it. I've checked the forecast. There is rain forecast for lunchtime, like 12, 1 o'clock, but it's 9:45. Oh, hello lassie. Go back that way. Go back. It's 9:45. We'll be gone from here by 11 at the very, very latest, and then back at the car by 12 o'clock. So the chances of any rain affecting us is virtually zero. Ooh, my leg. Ooh. Right, so the next thing to do, when I use this short mat, I always sleep with it upside down, because I found that when I was sleeping on it the right way up, because that's obviously the right way up, I always found when I was sleeping on it the right way up, my bottom, which was like in this area here, was always falling off. And I always had a ton of space up here that I didn't need. So I found that if I turned it around that way, then it was easier to keep my head up here, maybe because it's closer to my brain, I don't know, but it was easier to keep my head on this little bit, and then have a bottom and the hips and thighs and everything on this bit down here. And I always found that, you know, much better and much more convenient on this short mat. I brought the MLD. I've had this stuff so long now, I've kind of forgotten what some of this stuff's called now. Oh, anyway, the very small pack. And I brought that one with me. Is it the Newt? I've kind of forgotten what the bloody pack's called now. I haven't named this stuff for so long. I think it's the Newt. They all have slightly religious terms, don't they? Because there's the prophet, the Exodus, the ark. So what the hell did God have that was small? Anyway. Let's just check this is recording. Yeah. And you can see, with this configuration like this, there's plenty of headroom. I don't know what angle you can see, but you know, there's, okay, my head's brushing it, but you know, I can sit up under here. There's plenty of room under here, set like this. I'm sure I've brought out tarps before and I've been squished down there. Obviously it depends how you pitch it. And this mat here, it's not much of a back system of course, but this is basically my back system in this little pack. We then just slip this in there. In you go. That's it. Easy does it. Deeper and deeper. That's it. Oh yes. Oh. Ah, that's it. Very nice. Oh, I did enjoy that. It's the highlight of my camp, that. Slipping that in there. Oh, it's even got Lassie excited. So, the next thing is that stuff sack and that stuff sack, and then they just go nicely there. Now then, I'll bet I've forgotten or missed something. Okay. Yes, as usual, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, if I was camping out a second night, then I wouldn't risk leaving this out, but I'm not, so it doesn't matter. So that's my waterproof socks, which I didn't need, so they can just go in there. I didn't need my buff. I was tempted to put it on last night when it was getting a bit cooler, but I never did. Okay, what have we got here? So we've got my towel, can go there. Okay. The kilt, I'm going to put the kilt in the front pocket here because that's kind of part of my waterproof system, so I ought to keep that handy. Little speaker so I can listen to films a bit better. Power pack. And lead. So we'll just put all of that in there. So, and then my watch. I've got a mechanical watch on my left hand now, as I like to keep on all the time, so my outdoor watch I now put on my right when I need it for hiking and camping. So that goes in there next. And I'll just put that down in there. My phone goes in my pocket. So the next thing to go away, I won't have any more tea. I'm gonna pack up and get cracking now. So to do that, I need to roll this. It's warming up nicely in that sun now. So that goes in there. The sun is bright, hot now. So, cooking pot. There really isn't much more to go into this pack. Tea stuff here. So powdered milk, sugar, tea bags, I didn't make the cocoa, so that can go in there. That's the weather meter, so I'll leave that out. That's my water bottles, so I'll leave those out. Everything I'm putting over that side. Oh, one brownie, I'll maybe have that before we go. Everything that goes outside the pack I'm just putting over there. For some reason I'm thinking of that John Denver song, Fly away, all my bags are packed and I'm ready to fly away. I'm not flying anywhere, we're going home to see my beloved wife. Who I know will have missed me a lot, and I've missed her, and I do hope that we spoke last night briefly on the phone, and hopefully, fingers crossed, she'll come camping next time. So that's the first aid kit, repair kit in, my light in. This is my tablet. It's my sort of excessively heavy item to bring. But I do like to just look at a film for a bit. Even if I don't watch all of the film, it's nice to see a little. Okay. Well, that's my glasses for the car, which I need to wear back because I accidentally wore them. That's my glasses that I brought for the walk, which I didn't need. And I didn't know if I'd need sort of these mosquito coils. As it happened, the wind kept most of the biting insects away. So I've packed virtually everything from inside here. Well, half inside, half outside. So this is why I like bringing. Oh God, I'm getting too old for this. I don't know how the hell Chris does it. His young, sprightly age still. So I like to bring this this for a piece of foam because it's really handy. Because then I can move over, sit on that, and then this is the MLD Superlight Bivy, and it was comfortable, but I wouldn't want, again, it's very nice, very nice, and it's nice for a bit of fun, and I'm sure plenty of people, you know, like to use them, not professionally, but, you know, because they're, you know, super skilled hikers and want to do these mega walks with the minimalist of things. I think 1 or 2 nights in that would be more than enough for me. But certainly for a bit of fun, it's really nice. Sorry, Ron, I'm not calling your equipment a bit of fun, but so that goes in the pack next, and then all that stuff that I put in I took out just to make way for that, so that's going in there. So the next thing to do is to find somewhere comfortable for my bottom, put my shoes and socks back on and stand up and walk around for a few seconds and let my feet settle down. And then all I have to put away is what is now my raincoat, the poncho, and of course Lass's tarp over there, which I'll just put in her rucksack. That's why I put in gave her the bigger pack again this time, so that she could get that tarp in. And as I say, I've just got to work out what knots or what I did. Okay, well at some point the recording turned off, so I don't know how much was missed or not. So anyway, I've put the Superlight bivvy into the pack, and now I will put away my raincoat, because basically now the tarp is now my raincoat. I guess the only partial downside to a system like this is obviously if you were packing up first thing in the morning and the underside of your poncho has a load of condensation on it, then your poncho is going to get you wetter than anything else. So I did think of that during the night, but it has had a chance to dry out now, so it's completely and utterly bone dry now, so it would act as a waterproof now. Okay, so I'm gonna pack that away, see if I can undo these knots, and pack Lass's dog tap away as well. And I think Lassie has found the water again. Okay, well, it's 11:15 and the rain's just come a little bit early. It's like 3 or 4 specks. But I thought, as I had the poncho, I thought I'd put it on so you can see. So what I'll do is I just I can't really be bothered to get let me just see. So I think you can just see a lot of grass there, to be honest, but if you can see anything else, then now you can just see Lassie. Lassie, over this way. Now, this is my show, not the Lassie show. Oh yeah, I will give Lassie a pat for the New Zealand chappie. So that's the MLD poncho. I'm wearing the glasses because I haven't got anywhere else to put them. Well, I'm not safe. I could put them in my pocket, but I've done that sometimes. There's a pony and foal right behind. I say this is the Tony show, not the Lassie show or the pony and foal show. So we're gonna, as I say, head back to the car now. I don't think this rain's going to come too much. It's not forecast until gone 12 o'clock, so it's at least an hour early, and it wasn't forecast as heavy. So I don't think we're going to get Noah's Ark type rain, but I will head back now. So I will catch you all again, or maybe we will catch you all again, you know, sometime hopefully within the next month or so. See you again soon. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and the bell thing that everybody goes on about. And yeah, catch you all again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.